Alright, well, welcome to Pennsylvania once again. If you watched my two most recent videos, you should know that we are here in the Boyd Big Tree Preserve. We'll talk a little bit about what that means, Big Tree Preserve. It's not necessarily big trees here, but anyway, I was here almost exactly 5 years ago. Today's August 20th, and I was doing a little research on this place last night, and my old video came up from August 15th of 2015. That was the summer I started doing this. The video is probably pretty awful. Didn't quite know what I was doing back then. But anyway, we're back. Haven't been here 5 years, so gonna do some hiking here. It's beautiful down there. There's a cemetery that was down there. The previous video was awesome, and the whole meadow down there full of milkweed, all the butterflies down there. That was pretty cool. Now we're up in the shade. Do some hiking. And I forgot my trail map, but that's okay. If you get lost at this place, because there's a mountain up here, the Blue Mountain, so you can hike up towards the mountain, which will be uphill, and if you want to find your way back, just start hiking downhill, and all the trails kind of lead back to this one spot, the park entrance. But I am going to look for a place to sit and eat lunch first, though. Alright, so they look up off into the woods. There's a nice log laying down up there. I think that'll make a nice lunch spot. Oh, there's a squirrel up there. That's my lunch area, Mr. Squirrel. He's headed off. Not sure if you can see him up there or not. I don't know where he went. Alright. And of course, as always, I have my peanut butter and honey sandwich on rye bread. Still having trouble finding the marbled rye bread that I usually use, but this will do as well. And this stuff is pretty good. The Ocean Spray cranberry raspberry. That's good stuff. I'm going to sit here for a little bit, eat lunch, and we'll get going again. Just need to cool off a little bit too, because earlier I was down in the meadows in the fields doing some filming. I was out in the sun a little bit too much there, so I'm going to cool off a little bit as well. Then we'll get hiking around here again. Feels good out here in the woods though. All right, let's head on back down to the trail, and we'll continue on with this hike, even though we didn't actually really fully start it yet. Kind of decided to eat lunch first. Yeah, here's an interesting little dude right on the trail. He doesn't look so good though. Yeah, when I was up in the woods eating lunch, I saw some people walking by and they were looking down the trail, taking pictures of something. I think that was him. Beautiful day out here. Supposed to be only a high in the lower 80s, upper 70s maybe, and the humidity is way down, so it's pleasant out here, to say the least. So it looks like there is a split in the trail here. This is kind of the main trail so far. It's got the pink and the green blazes. I think the pink blaze refers to the Lower Springs Trail. Oh yeah, they do have names here. Yeah, the pink is the Lower Springs Trail, but we're gonna head up. Oh, that's the pink trail, goes up that way. 'Cause I think the last time I was here, I came from that direction. And that's the East Loop Trail. So I think we're gonna go up this way. So I hope you can tell on camera, but this is a beautiful place to come and hike. I'll have to stop and put some bug spray on here in a bit. Those little flying gnats are starting to get a little bad. So we're now walking along the White Trail. I forget what the name of the White Trail is. Did put some bug spray on, but those little gnats don't seem to realize it sometimes. The spray I use is good, keeps the mosquitoes and the black flies away, but those little tiny flying gnats, or sometimes they call them no-see-ums. Those dudes can be relentless sometimes. Which reminds you to buy that Vicks Vapor Rub. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. Some people mentioned that the old timers would use that to keep the bugs away. So I might have to go on Amazon tonight, see if I can get some of that, just to try it. They like to fly around your ears. I don't think they're not really bloodsuckers. I'm not entirely sure what they're after sometimes. Someone told me they're attracted to like the carbon dioxide that you breathe out, or I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, so the White Trail does have a name. The Upper Springs Trail. We were on the Lower Springs. But I think I'm going to turn left up here and do this pond loop trail. Go up this way. I do remember a pond the last time I was here. So maybe we'll see some critters down there. Haven't really seen much. Saw 2 squirrels. Which didn't want to get on film. That's the way it is on these warmer summer afternoons. A lot of critters are asleep during the day, or at least during the hottest part of the day. Well, here's a little tree I would like to point out to you. Its bark is really cool looking. It's kind of green and white striped, almost like a green and white candy cane. That's a distinguishing characteristic of it, if you want to identify it. And here's what the leaves look like. They do resemble maple leaves, and it is indeed a maple tree. This is a striped maple. That's why, the bark has those. It's green with the white stripes, so it's a striped maple. Sometimes it's called moose maple too. They usually don't get terribly big. There's another one just right there. A lot of times they're more bush-like than tree-like. That is a striped maple. So if you see a tree, small tree, where its bark looks like a green and white candy cane, that's what you're looking at. Striped maple. Well, we should soon be down where the pond is. But I never did answer why it's called Boyd Big Tree Preserve. And it's not, like I said, it's not because there are currently big trees here, but it's that there will potentially someday be big trees here. One of the things about this place, the guy who donated the land, I'm assuming his last name is Boyd, one of his wishes was that this place would never be logged. So these trees, this forest will be able to, I guess you could say, return to eventually someday to an old growth style forest, which I think is pretty cool. So it's the potential that these trees will get much bigger. There are decent sized trees here, but they will continue to get big. I know some people think it's a waste, why not cut them down and make money off of them, but I'm kind of more the other way. I wish people would see trees for more than just their monetary value, just for their aesthetic beauty as well. And it's nice to have areas that are just going to be left go, remain in their natural state without people interfering all the time. Just my own thoughts. I know that makes, anyway, I'm not going to go there. I get some people angry sometimes when I talk about logging and stuff. Not that logging's wrong, but there's more value to trees than just what they're worth monetarily. Yeah, I think down here is the pond. So I'm gonna make my way down there slowly just in case there are some critters down here. Maybe some turtles and stuff. Don't want to scare them off. Although I think there's some other people down here. I can hear voices. All right. Not much to look at, actually. Looks like it's, well, it's been a drier summer, so looks like the water levels are down pretty good. No critters out there. All right. I think I'm going to take a little break here. There's a nice little bench. Got a bit of a headache coming on here, so I'm going to take some aspirin, or what do I have in there? Some Aleve in my pack. Just rest for a little bit. The headache isn't from the heat or the hiking. It's not that hot today. All right. Have a little seat by the pond here. Well, the headache could be from being slightly dehydrated. I realize I haven't really drunk a whole lot of water today, so I've been chugging a little bit there. I think we'll have some craisins as well. Yeah, you can get headaches from not drinking enough water sometimes. So, like I said, it's not terribly hot today, but that can happen. So, anyway, we'll finish this water and these craisins, and then we'll get back to hiking. We're actually not that far from the end here. You can hike up to the top of the mountain stuff, but I didn't do that today. Sounds like people coming, so I'll say goodbye for now. All right, so not a whole lot to the pond, but I'm assuming that in the springtime probably there's more water in there and probably a lot more activity going on with frogs and turtles and salamanders and stuff, but this is August. The ponds tend to look that way in August. Get a little more dried up and stuff. But we are back on the Lower Springs Trail, and this should take us back to the start. All the trails kind of go back, start the same point. So I think I'll end this video here. It is a beautiful place to hike. And as you can see, the trails, at least further down here, the trails are really nice. Kind of like a gravel surface. Not too rough, but if I remember correctly, which was like 5 years ago, because I've been to so many parks and places, I think, like I said, you can climb to the top of the Blue Mountain. There's a trail, I think it's called the Ridge Trail, maybe. It gets a little bit rougher up there, as it always does if you're climbing a mountain, but if you stay down in the lower areas, the trails are really nice. So didn't really see a whole lot of wildlife today, but that's the way it is sometimes. But it's still a beautiful day to be out. It is going to get a bit hot again next week. Today is Thursday, but I think starting this weekend we're looking at some upper 80s and maybe some 90s again. I was hoping those temperatures would be done with, but we'll have to put up with them a little bit more yet. Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, this is in Dauphin County, not too far from Harrisburg actually. So if you're in that area, it is a good place to do some hiking. Beautiful place. Anyway, I do got to get home. Another reason why I'm kind of cutting things a little short here. There's a ton more trails you can hike here. But I do have some things I got to do this evening, so. All right, I will see you around. Thanks for coming along.